Brunswick.
To accept those meetings.
I'll second.
Trustee Holder. Trustee Santiago.
Accept.
Trustee Van Savage.
Accept.
Trustee Boyle. Accept. Trustee Amato.
Yes, accept.
Trustee Stanton.
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo.
Yes.
Trustee Donato. Passes.
Okay, treasurer's report.
Okay, as always, each month the bills we paid are emailed to the treasurer, by the treasurer to each of the trustees, so that you know exactly what we got. So this is just a hard copy for you folks. I included we paid April 3rd and then dating back into February 22nd. Also up to date on all our insurances. Our financial situation is sound at this point. Expect it to continue to be that way. Any questions? No.
Do I hear a motion to accept treasurer's report?
I'll second it.
Favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Any discussion? Any discussion? We'll move on to the law enforcement report.
Okay, that should have crossed over between law enforcement and treasurer, so I'll explain that right up through. Since February 14th, last whole year, 627 calls. Closed out 305 of those. 324 are still active. We've written about 30 summonses. A number of court cases and fines assessed. We had a pretty good win on a case against an animal control officer by Phil Milano. Nice job, Phil. And that worked out quite well. So happy with the way things are going. We have one motion. I don't know if Josh is escaped here. I gave out an EZO as promoted to corporal. He deserves it. He works the southern third of the state. Now, most of it's 3 days. We're going to allow uniform changeover earlier because of the weather. So that will have a directive going out on tomorrow. We have phase 1 training beginning in Ocean County on the 27th of this month. That will run through June. Probably about 30 people. We closed our registration on April 1st. We need time to vet the candidates. That's happening now. Phase 2 training, which is given by the Division of Criminal Justice at their academy in Seagirt, will begin in June and will complete sometime in July. Each person that needs to go to that has to sign up for that directly with DCJ. So that's being done. We're trying to shepherd everything. Additionally, we had a case, I don't know if you guys remember from several months ago, I think it was last year, it was a year ago. We had a guy drive a truck onto ice in Tom's River. That finally went to court, and he is in the county jail. What did he get? 180 days. So that was a successful prosecution by our departments. Okay, we've got another issue which we need to address, which is the CCRS, which is our complaint system, which is how we track all of the things that we're doing. Back in 2006, Steve Shacken and I designed the system, and we are now at the point where we have to upgrade the basic part of our system. It's 12 years old, and we've got a piece of software that will no longer support what we're going to be doing. So we've gone out and with the help of Michael Peters, we got some estimates with a support group that built the system with us on updating it into the latest version of Final. And I want the board to understand that we also need to replace our server. rewriting of all the software is gonna be just under, you're telling us it's about 11,000, but I wanna make sure that we've got enough, so the motion will be for $12,000 to purchase a new server. For about $3,500, which we are going to house in our own.
Yes, it'll be in our computer room.
Okay.
In the basement.
So those are solid estimates, and I think that they make a lot of sense. Again, we need to continually update our software to better track what we're doing and continue to move that forward. So I have a motion for $12,000 for the software. Right, so I'll wait till new business. And we have 5,000 earmarked. So that includes the law enforcement.
Someone make a motion to accept the enforcement report.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Moved by trustee Lee. Any discussion?
In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, committee reports. Law committee.
Nothing to report.
Oh, you want? The membership committee.
We have a couple people that are up for membership this evening. Interviews have been conducted by membership chair Phil Motto and myself. When I say your name, please just stand up and introduce yourself. Zach Met.
Yes, sir. Special law enforcement for Hackensack, New Jersey. Also run a business for children, two children over in New Jersey. I actually speak for two different schools I work with. Interested in having events to help us raise a bit of money and increase awareness.
Camille Anako from Cal. James Post.
James, I'm brand new to this. Here's just want to know more about New Jersey SPCA. What do you got?
Cameron Talou.
Cameron, I'm a student.
Kim Talou.
I'm Kim, and I ran into these guys at a fundraiser I was doing, and I'm very excited to learn more about what they do.
Tatiana Barrington Chan.
Hi, I'm Tatiana, and my ultimate goal is to be an animal cruelty investigator, and I currently do on-track thoroughbred rescue on the park.
Chris Reed. I don't think we made it tonight. I'd like to make a motion to put this in my.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Take a motion.
Welcome to the SPCA.
Finance committee.
Nothing to do with it. Other than there's budget forms.
Community services. You know, Ed, what I know is, you know, we're gonna be getting into the season for all of our events. If you see it on the website, sign up. You need help. That goes for the people also. If you see something you'd like to be part of, just give Officer Investigator Dabrowski a call and let him know that you're available. And he'll be on the schedule for that day.
I know he has one pending event that still needs people to sign up for. It's Sunday, April 23rd from 11 to 5 in Tom's River. He's still looking for people as late as yesterday. So,
Old business. Green County application. I know that there's been some ongoing communication between Harry, Mr. Levin, and
There have, we voted to revoke the charter. They're not in any kind of compliance, so revocation stands, but they, the people that want to take it over have an attorney, so that's where it's going at the moment. What we got? No, we can make a motion, but, it's in litigation right now. Discuss it. No, it's not on the agenda. It's not on the agenda, so I think we should let that go.
New business. As the chief said, that there's a new computer system being made for headquarters by Michael Peters. There's a cost of about $12,000.
That's just the software.
That's just the software side. We also will be getting a will for $5,000, which President Shatkin advised me today that money was going to be earmarked for that project. So,
Well, we'll just take it.
we got to put that in the form of a motion to.
Well, the motion will be to upgrade the software of the CCRS for about $12,000. It's going to, it could be less than that, but it would be great. Server of 3,500. Our renewal license for 3 years is going to be cut down, so that's about $11 a year. That's normal. So the motion is for $12,000 and then $3,500 to upgrade the CCRS and the server.
This is a specialized activity, so it's sole source, right? People who are skilled at doing this and programming very specialized. That's accurate. Right. And knowledge of our system, and that's why they.
Michael Peters is working on it as our IT guy, and the software and the system is going to be working.
It's going to be updated through the supporting group, which is the same group that did the original coding and writing of the original CCRS back in 2006. So it's the same group, but it is very specialized. They have familiarity with the scripts. The person that kind of does the general updates is one of the people that's going to work on this. So we ran a test to see how this might work on the new platform. It seems to work okay, but there's a number of scripts that need to be updated. It's going to have a global effect throughout the whole system. If we change X, something in Y may be able to.
Yes, sir. Essentially, we're 4 versions back from the current state of FileMaker. So with that, there are a lot of under-the-hood changes that for CCRS software now has to be migrated to work correctly. So that's why there's a lot of work, development work involved with that.
So my understanding is FileMaker is a commercial off-the-shelf software, but we require specialization because of what we can do in the implementation.
FileMaker is a relational database function, and you can develop applications, which the chief and the deputy chief did. They can run in it, and that's what CCRS is. It's a database that's been specifically designed for our applications.
Thank you.
That's the motion.
what's the total amount? I think probably
15,500.
Made the motion. For the second.
Second.
Trustee Holden. Trustee Santiago. Trustee Van Savage.
Yes.
Trustee Boyle. Yes. Trustee Amato. Trustee Stanton.
Yes.
Trustee Rizzo.
Yes.
Mr. Rizzo, 2 yes. Trustee Donato.
Motion carries. $15,500 now to redevelopment.
Sorry, I see that we have prior business that we want to go back to before the promotion of the half year this year. So it's okay if we go back to that.
Part of the name.
Alright, also, there's another computer system that was just added to headquarters, and that's a CJIS, Criminal Justice Information System, for us to run lookups on certain individuals, and it's, for the most part, it's going to be used to track paid and unpaid fines. And that'll be Lieutenant Beerman's job to do that. Just the President wanted me to bring it up that we do have it in place in headquarters, and it's going to be used solely for that purpose.
Yeah, we conducted our interviews the next day.
Interviews, yeah.
Conducted our interviews. We come up with a final list of candidates, 13, and we're just finishing some vetting that we've done. They'll be in the academy.
Another 10.
So we've got a substantial class, could be about 25. That's what
Treasurer, can you give us an update on the 501c3?
Yes. Okay, the 501 was reapplied for a couple months back, notification from the IRS that we're in process. We don't know how long it's going to take, but they have the paperwork, everything is filed appropriately, and hopefully we'll have a resolution on that, and we'll get our status changed back in the coming months. We're hopeful that will be the case. So, and they acknowledge receipt of all paperwork.
Okay, final hurrah?
Final hurrah, that was it.
Okay.
So I will be stepping away as treasurer after, what's this, 2017, 13 years. I've got some new business interests that I'm involved in. I have to devote the kind of time to it that needs to be devoted. I expect that I'll still help out where needed. I'm going to be spending more time on the law enforcement side and the law committee side. And we've asked Phil Amato, who has been working with me for several months, to step in. And I'll be working with Phil pretty closely. He will put his own spin on things. Phil is a terrific businessman. He's got a great business head. And that's what we need for the next person that takes this over. So I look forward to working with you and not being abandoned. You'll be doing it together, and I'm at your disposal for whatever you need. But starting May, when you get emails with things about bills and questions, that will come.
Phil, just so you understand, this is till January, till December 31st, 2017. At which time, the first meeting in January, we'll have to hold an election. So you'll be appointed until then. And then, first meeting in January, we'll have an election. And if no one runs against you, you'll just continue to do what you do. Okay?
There's a lot of people in the audience I think want to help, so I don't think that's the case.
All right, so.
That's a tough job.
Good luck. I'm sure it'll be a smooth transition. Good and welfare. Anybody have anything under good and welfare?
Yeah, so I'm currently, where I was holding two animals that were involved in cases. The cat was released to a home, and then the dog should be released to another home that was ready at the end of this week. So they're doing I'm gonna miss her.
The cat was the cat from the shopping case in the
Okay, open session. From the membership and the public. There's a 3-minute maximum questions and comments. And, okay, comments. And if anybody has any comments, we'll hear them now. Kane?
Folks, good evening. Some of you know my name is Walt Kane, New York, New Jersey. I requested an interview on a couple of topics about a month ago, and you guys passed. But there are a couple of them that I think are important to be brought to the public's attention in light of the fact that you guys do depend on public donations. So there's one thing that I want to ask about tonight. And if you don't want to take it as a question, take it as a comment, feel free to respond to the comment. It has to do with the legal bills over the past 5 years. Over the past 5 years, according to, well, let's look at a 3-year period. From 2013 to 2015, the SPCA reports spending $720,000 on legal expenses. We asked for the records of the legal expenses. And we were told, in response to our public records request, that there are none. How could this organization accrue that kind of legal bill with no invoice, with no bill, and without a single record of any kind? I would also note that when we asked, the first response we got was, oh yes, we have the records and we'd be happy to give them to you, but there's a problem, they contain some confidential information and we need to redact that. And then you said, on further examination, we don't have any records of any kind. How could both of those statements simultaneously be true? Also, you reported to the IRS that you spent $720,000 on legal bills during those 3 years, but when I look at the check register for those 3 years, you spent $200,000 on legal bills. So where does that $500,000 discrepancy come from? And finally, when I look through those check registers that I referred to, there's a recurring payment that says $3,000 to Levin & Cyphers, and if you look in the notes, it says quarterly payment per contract, which would make perfect sense, except for the fact that, as I said at the beginning, I requested the records, including the contract, and was told there are none. So how are you making quarterly payments per contract if there is no contract? So those are some of the questions I have regarding your legal fees. I was hoping that we could do this by way of an interview, but can you address any of that? Because again, this is an organization that survives on donations from the public. Does the public have a right to know where the money?
As you know, there's a 3-minute limit to your question, and we thank you for your question. Take it, and I'll bring it to the president. Thank you. Anyone else? Dr. Stone?
Yes, you
the members that are being raised the $50 other than when the new bylaws came out? According to NJSA 10.4-13, you have to discuss that with the membership. And it wasn't discussed, so I'd like to suggest that you leave it at $25 until you discuss it with the membership, and that way everybody has a say in it. Your new bylaws seem to have taken rights to membership away from the membership. I understand the table wants to make a good decisions, that's fine, it's all well and good. But you do need to put some of the information out to the members so that we shouldn't have to find out about it after the fact. And then we don't have to go digging for the rules to try and protect ourselves and say, hey, what are we paying $50 for? You didn't tell us, it's not in the minutes. Even if it's a closed door session, according to 10.4-13, you don't have to give us the specifics about the meeting, but you do have to say, watch the time, I know it's really important. But you do have to let the members know what it is you're planning to do. It would be nice, instead of doing this lack of transparency that the president had mentioned was try and be a little transparent. I suggest go back to $25. And when you do tell the members about it, then you can go.
Thank you. No, you're good. Thank you. Anybody else?
I have the excuses. Thank you for everything, Mr. Cano. Sear Farms.
Yes.
You did that. Well, there's a Carl Hines who passed away.
There's what?
Carl Hines. His company passed away.
Yes.
He did that proxy report as part of it.
Correct.
He made him pay for his own proxy report. He was the person who lost everything in a fire. His dog died at Sear Farms. Furthermore, the necropsy report indicated he didn't take any further action because the dog had some pre-existing problems or something. But I've got a necropsy report on it. I looked at it. There was no significant findings with anything other than the word that was 5 years old. It was matted. It had fecal matter in the fur, which I believe that was a problem at Sear Farms' other location for dogs that were not groomed on prior occasion. So, other than that, no, there was no health issues that contributed to that dog's death, other than that condition at that time, which they said came from possibly a bacterial pneumonia. And that was one of our issues with Sear Farms, was how filthy it was. But what I find most outrageous is that he had to pay for his own necropsy report, and the man had nothing. He lost everything in a fire, and then he was 2 bucks there. So that's my comment.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, the system that you guys are using, the dispatch system, I've gotten several complaints over the last, I want to say 2 months, that, and I know for a fact, I had 3 of my members call in complaints, and the complaints are not getting to you guys. I don't know what's going on. There's a guy named Kevin or Keith that's on the dispatch who is literally telling people that the SPCA doesn't do that. So they're listening to the complaint, and then he's making the decision. He's a dispatcher. He's not an SPCA agent, and he shouldn't be making any decision. Whether he thinks it's frivolous or not, or whether he thinks it's a legitimate complaint or not, it should be made, that determination should be made by you guys, and not by some guy that's sitting and answering the telephone when a call comes into the hotline. And at first I thought it was just, the person didn't call, the person did call, or maybe it got lost in the shuffle, but it's becoming more and more relevant now, where I'm getting more and more complaints from people that are like, I called it in, and nobody got back to me. Nobody called. Or I spoke to this guy, and it's always the same thing. It's either Kevin or Keith. I never remember which name it is. But it's always the same person who says to them, we're not taking that call. That's not something the SPCA does. So, I'm just concerned that these calls aren't getting placed to you guys or to the zone commanders, and that these people are making the decisions for these animals. So, I just wanted to bring that up, and maybe you guys can check into it. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Mr. Rocco, can you send us the names of the complaints so we can follow up?
Absolutely.
That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Who do you want me to send?
Send them
Larry?
You send them to Larry.
Chief, you want me to send
You
to
can
Larry?
you can copy both.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I'd like to know if this meeting was given adequate notice, because I called the Secretary of State, and they've never gotten any meetings for you guys at all. which by law you have to send it to them. Where did you guys post that this meeting was happening? Date, time, location? Did you post it anywhere? Okay. If it's not posted anywhere, I would like to make a complaint that this meeting is illegal because it was never posted, never given adequate notice, which by law you have to do. So I protest this meeting.
Thank you, sir. And that's Steve Rocco, correct?
Correct.
Anyone else? Trustee Amato?
Hopefully I'll get more than 3 minutes. I just wanted to address, there's some new people here, there's some people that have been here for a while. December, January, February, I was a little out of the loop. My father had passed away, and other family emergencies, but I kept myself in the loop, thanks to some cameras out in the room, and some people that I spoke to. And I just want to say this, through the 8 years that I've been here, I've decided to work on this treasure role to make a difference. And what happens when you do this on your spare time and work for nothing, and one person or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 people do most of the administrative work here, something's bound to fall out from the bottom. It's not a malicious intent or it's not a purpose. And generally what I've seen here happen over time, and I know it's happened before my time, is that's what happens. People try to do the right thing and unfortunately encounter some more important things in their lives, like raising their children and their family and attending funerals and people that are sick at their bedside. So, but what was amazing the past 8 years here is that I've seen very little people try to do anything here, but everybody complained. And if all the people that complain would actually do something, we'd actually have a much better success rate. We'd have more money to run this organization. We'd save more animals. Somebody made a comment more than one time, yeah, we spend more time here talking about lawsuits and nonsense than about the animals, but there's people here that continue to cause those problems. And if people have made mistakes in this room, you know what, they're human beings, I've made them myself. And about a year ago, I stood before this board and many others, and I vowed to make a change, and I'm still here to do that. But one thing I'm not here to do is take down this organization, because without this organization, there is no agency that's going to investigate cases throughout the state of New Jersey. So if your intention, first of all, good luck to that, is to wipe out or attempt to take out this organization, good luck. Number one, because it's been here for 143 years, you're wasting your time. Number two is take the time and make a difference, if that's what you're here for. If not, don't come here. Really? I intend to make this a smooth transition with Trustee Rizzo, and I can't speak for the things that happened prior to this transition, but I will make my very best effort to make some changes to better the system. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm not getting paid for this. I need to know. No, I need to continue talking. I don't care. I'm going to better the system, and if people want to, Trustee Amato, Trustee Amato, thank you.
Thank you. We don't have to take forward to it, so I can't.
That's fine.
Thank you.
That was my 3 months of not being here.
Anybody else?
I think it was only 5.
Any other comments?
I'd like to make a motion.